Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Today I want to talk about a topic that is pretty well known to preppers, and that is taking care of your gear. Not only that, but knowing how to use your gear and properly maintain it. So this topic is fairly new to me because I'm fairly new to prepping, but I've been around firearms for a while, so that concept as far as the firearms go, it's been known to me and I've understand it fairly well. So it came up as a topic for me when I came into possession of this beautiful little Ruger Mark II target pistol. A relative of mine sent it to me because, well, let me first safety check the firearm. Magazine out. I actually knew it was going to do that because that's the condition it was sent to me, and that's what they wanted to find out. They couldn't figure out why the action wouldn't come back all the way. I've already safety checked this, so I know there's no round in the chamber. But this brought up the topic of knowing your gear and knowing how to use your gear and properly maintaining it. When I received this firearm, it was rather filthy, and I'll roll in some pictures here of the action and whatnot before I cleaned it, and then a couple of them after I cleaned it. So after I cleaned it, I figured it was probably some gunk in there or something that was jamming this thing up. So I took the firearm apart, disassembled it in order to clean it. You don't need any tools. You can usually get your finger in there, but a flathead screwdriver or an empty large shell casing works really well too. So to disassemble, now it's not gonna, there you go. And then you pull that down and then push your barrel forward. It's kind of sticky on new guns. There we go. And it lifts straight off like that. And then you pull this out. So I cleaned it all up and then I reassembled it. And for this firearm, you have to make sure that you mark the position of the hammer. And then you push it all back together. And make sure that doesn't slide out. Take this, put it back in, and so I put it back together and it still didn't work. And I had just cleaned it, I had lubricated the whole thing, it was really nice inside, and it just blew my mind because there was nothing in there that was blocking it. So I set it down and got to thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? There's a trick to this, and it took me a little while to remember it, which is part of knowing your gear. However, this is not mine, and I don't have one like this, so it's not something I come across on a regular basis. Now, I've used these in the past, and I've cleaned them in the past, so I knew what it was, but I had forgotten. So I disassembled it again. Yeah, that's sticky. There we go. Oh. Okay, so when you get back to this part of the reassembly, there's a trick at the very end. You have to rotate the firearm up 45 degrees, slide this back in, and then it cycles. So there's a little arm in there that hangs down, and if you don't tilt this up at a 45-degree angle, then it gets in the way of the slide being pulled back. And I had forgotten that. So my relative that had this, even though they didn't clean it last time they disassembled it, it had obviously been disassembled and taken apart and then reassembled, and they didn't know the little trick of turning the firearm up at a 45-degree angle. So that's no fault of theirs. I know this relative, and they're not an avid shooter or anything like that. But it's something that as a prepper and in the prepping community we need to be aware of. And so I came across this and I was like, this is a fantastic example of knowing your gear and knowing how to maintain it. In the aerospace industry, which is the industry that I work in, there's this saying that's called test like you fly. And I'm sure that there's more industries that that's used in. But basically what that means is when you do a dry run or a scenario or a test on your system that you're about to implement on an operational system or for a flight system or something, you have to test that exactly the same as your operational environment. So you have to basically build two operational environments, one that you use to test and one that you use to do your operations with. Well, the same goes as a prepper for your gear. You can't just buy the gear and put it on a shelf and say, I'm ready, I got the gear, I've spent $20,000 on hardware and whatever, and I'm good to go. If you don't train with that, if you don't test with it, then you're going to get caught unprepared because you're going to try to go assemble something and not know how to use it and not know how to get it done. And it's going to take you 4 or 5 times longer than it would if you were practiced with it. So once every 6 months, once a year, more frequently if you can, run some drills, run some bug outs. Say, okay, we're bugging out, grab the bags, let's go. Just take your family in the woods and go camping as a bug out activity or something like that. Test like you fly. Train like you fight. That's probably a term they use in the Army or something like that. Train like you fight. I'm sure it is. So that's the video topic for today. Really quick video. Just thought it might be a good little informational piece for people. And gosh, I really love this little Ruger. It's so beautiful. I might have to just not return it. But anyways, test like you fly. Train like you fight. Keep your gear in good maintenance. Know how to use it. And you'll be better off. So that's it for tonight. Thank you all for watching. God bless our military service members past and present. Keep your powder dry, folks.
I only have enough for I just need to buy hollow points.
Yeah.
Whoa, quiet down over there.